Welcome to Cinema Alley Encore with your host James Howe and Chris Cupp. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great.
So, yeah, it's Encore. It's Encore. People will probably be wondering, well, what is Encore? Encore is more than just a bonus episode, but it's something that I guess you guys would get to know us a little bit more. What we're doing as storytellers, as creators, and I kind of figured, you know what, with the amount of episodes that we poured out this coming season, we're done with season one. We're right now going through the scripts for season two, and we're reading those. Which tune in at the end, and maybe you'll get a title or two dropped of what's to
Maybe
come.
even during, because I will forget that we're supposed to hold on to that to the
I'll make sure to like shut the hell up, Chris. We're supposed to save this towards the end. This is an end bit.
end.
This is a
All
wrap
right.
up end bit that we do.
Oh shit. Oh my bad.
But yeah, so yeah, this is what Encore is supposed to be a little bit more relaxed, and I could definitely tell we need a little bit more relaxed because I've listened to the past 4 episodes now. By the time that this comes out, our South Park episode will be out. Which that was a wild ride, but that was a very strenuous episode to do because there was so much to cover. Like I kind of thought that like we finished Star Wars. So I don't know why I said that funny, but yeah, we finished Star Wars. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, there's not so much backtracking we have to do. It's a little bit more easier. Our next story is going to be a little bit simpler. And then I realized we were covering South Park bigger, longer, and uncut. And when you wouldn't sit there and think there would be so much to cover in a South Park movie, but man, they fit so much in it
Yeah,
that
just
first four
loads of
episodes kicked my ass.
pop culture references, like historical references that we had to draw connections to. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, like just comedian gods, man. They 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 certainly know how to throw that lens on society and make people reflect like, oh, that's funny, like about
exactly.
what they're joking about, but also like, hey, there's a message here.
Mm-hmm. Like there's more to it than just the silliness and everything. That yeah, there is a message about censorship, and quite honestly, we still have not we have not gotten we've not made any progress in that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
we've
Kind of
lost
feels like it
ground.
got tighter. It got
It
tighter.
has, it really has, and we got the whole restrict act with TikTok going on. Still, I think that's still happening. I don't know if it's gone through, but
The thing that shocks me
it's
is
still
like in YouTube,
scary.
you can't even show gore on YouTube. Like if
I mean, you can
what
still do that. It's just
actually no, you
not quite.
can't because I've gotten flagged off on my channel. There was even though it was like a video game, but there was like a lot of gore
Yeah.
that I just removed the video all entirely because like it felt like it kept giving me like a oh, it violated this, it violated that. I was like, what? I was like, I just won't fucking upload the goddamn video. Fuck you, fuckers,
What are you
and everything.
You're showing footage or like?
I mean, I'm busting zombie brains wide open. You know, I am fucking
But this is from a specific video game.
yeah. But it's gory
It
because when you bust the zombie's head, you got all this blood bust. But it's almost like akin to playing a Zelda game where you're busting pots,
yeah.
but inside the pots, you could sit there and say it's filled with red Kool-Aid and chunks of sliced orange. And you just bash into the zombie's head and everything would bust. So that's in my mind, that's the imagery.
I mean,
And
there's
so
still.
and the funny thing is, it's I have it labeled that this is not for kids. So it really would not kids should not be seeing this, but also
Yeah,
to
you can say mature
name one
content.
fucking kid that has an account that has a I was about to say content a YouTube account that actually says that they're a kid. Most of them don't.
No.
You know, they
I mean,
they lie about their age or they use their parents' account. You
yeah.
know, but
Well,
speaking of YouTube and
sometimes
Trey
they
Parker,
but
yeah.
yeah. Wait, sorry, but go ahead.
Speaking of YouTube and Trey Parker, that when we talked about that, I've been getting a lot of clips sent to me. You know, like or not sent, but offered, recommended of basketball.
Yeah,
Do you
Everett
have
rocks.
that one by chance?
I don't think I have that. I know it's on my wish list, digitally, but like
Yeah.
I remember watching it. when it first came out and thinking how awesome it was.
They hate that movie, and it's like I have to see this movie. I have
What?
to sit there and see what. Yeah, they don't like the movie.
Wait, who hates it?
Trey and Matt Parker, that they do not like that movie
What?
and everything. I,
Classic. Oh, come
I
on.
think for them, I think that they were actually trying to really make something golden,
Yeah,
and they kind of, I don't know, maybe it's that creator self-criticism to their own work. But to me, it was like when I read somewhere that they kind of they don't really want to bring basketball up too much. I mean, like I saw a whole scene, because even Instagram's starting to invade me now with basketball. That it's this whole, my phone's listening to me right now. It's probably gonna like send me so many articles now on a possible basketball sequel, and that
yeah.
Matt and Trey are gonna make a trilogy or something like that.
I mean, maybe I
But
could see them
but
as like kind of
they
self-conscious
did
about
make
it,
a
you know.
lot of, like, I guess from the clips that I've sat there seeing, maybe it did not age too well, but at the same time, it's like, name one comedy, that really aged well. Like, really, name one, because there's always some things.
That
Oh yeah, we don't make
aged
fun of that no
perfectly.
more.
Like
It's very rare that you find something that aged perfectly.
I can name a bunch of them that probably won't do that wouldn't be really good for today's audiences.
Oh yeah, Porky's is one.
Oh, I love Porky's.
I made a
That's
Porky's reference in one Discord call this past week,
that's
and only one person understood that. He's like, "Wait, you've seen Porky's, man?"
yeah,
And these are people from like Sweden and the Netherlands. And I was like, "You guys have seen Porky's? I was expecting this reference for you, none of you guys to get it." And then about like after how some of them like figured it out and everything, what I was referencing, and then the movie, they're like, "Oh yeah, we love this movie." I was like, "Dude, what the fuck? I need to see Porky's and like uh what is it like in I guess like their language. Like I really gotta sit there and see what is the translation,
yeah,
especially the scene where the gym coach goes and grabs that boy's penis in the glory hole
yeah. For
and
those who
everything.
don't know, Porky's was the original like American Pie. Like that was that
Yeah,
generation's American Pie.
it was the coming of age
Yeah.
Lampoon esque. Hell, it predated Lampoon, I think. I don't
Uh,
think
I think you're right on that because there's
I
Animal House that was 1978
Animal House was
and
the first one, and then they did Caddyshack.
Oh no, Porky's was 81. So Animal
Was it
House was
81?
first. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they took what they did with the Lampoon stuff, and they really upped they upped the gross factor to it. Which to me, it's like I'm just baffled that even something, if it was in the 70s, let alone the 80s, is like you had a glory hole scene, and the only way that they could identify the culprit is the mole on his penis, and it's like, oh my god, it was like.
Well, did you say that was a mole? I thought she was just kind of because you're they're in the principal's office later, and she's
I
like,
think he
"If
actually
you
does have
line
like a
them
growth.
up,
There's
I can pinpoint which one it was." I know.
I'm pretty sure. I think he actually had something of like a growth that
Yeah,
looked like a mole, like probably not nearly as like what moles you would see like on people's faces that are big, but
yeah.
I do believe I think he had like a
Maybe like
little
there was a
dot.
small, tiny dimple or something like a
Yeah,
color discoloration somewhere on the wiener,
yeah,
but
and everything, and
yeah, just
she's
the
like, "You can't get away
principal's.
from me. I know who you are now," and it's like,
Yeah,
oh dear lord, and yeah,
the principal's just
um,
cracking out the
but
whole time.
what's also funny that brought up keeping a little bit in line to our first topic of discussing the first four episodes, because we completely went from Matt Stone to Porky's and all that. So somehow I missed some edits. I missed some stuff that was supposed to be cut out of the first episode, and
Oh
I
yeah.
do believe I think there was some mishaps in the second and third
Did I
and
say something
everything.
silly?
No. It was like I fucked up somewhere, and I was like, you know what? Let's just restart.
Yeah.
And so we restarted, and I was like, you know what? I'm laughing at this. I don't understand what I was so upset about.
Yeah, you were.
I guess I was just trying to be a little bit more. I have a perfectionism mindset
Yeah,
sometimes,
you
and so
overthink things a lot, and it's just
when I played
it's a
that
podcast,
over,
man. Just be
yeah,
relaxed.
so
You know,
when I played it, I just kind of laughed.
go
I
with the
wasn't
flow.
like, oh, don't or anything like that. But I was like, I laughed,
Yeah,
and people were all like, "He was like, did you fuck up?" I was like, I fucked up, and I was like, I forgot to scan through it one more time. I don't know how I missed it. I must have been away from the, because sometimes even when I scan through, I'm away from the desk,
Yeah.
so I could be cleaning while
Editing
listening to
is a
see if I'm
tedious
missing.
process, and it's just like it's easy to miss
It
something.
is, but I thought the first episode I only fucked up the one time. I didn't realize I fucked up twice, and then said,
Oh,
"Fuck it, let's redo it again." It was like, oh my god. So if we didn't cover anything, I'm pretty sure people are like, well, before you fucked up, you brought up this good point, and you didn't. It's like, yeah, drop it in the questions below. I'll go back and re-listen to the episode, and I'll give you a
yeah.
good enough answer what we were going for. But I was fucking dying. I was laughing. I was like, I just published this, and to them they're like, well, you know what? I think you're handling it well. I was like, yeah, I think I am. It's like, I was like, James back then when we were recording this was in a totally different mindset as compared to me now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a much better mindset. I've had my dark days this year, but like, because like we wrapped up recording what, in February.
Yeah, I think it was February.
Yeah, we so like already, I was already working on trying to get into a better mindset, and I do notice that in the future episodes we get better with communicating, and you know not us having so much of an overlap and
Yeah.
everything. And I kind of felt like I was a little bit more relaxed, and it was all like, oh, so this is how you do it. But also
It's
too, I'm an anxiety ridden, coffee driven kind of person.
yeah, just
That's
like
patent pending currently, and I'm making merch out of that shirt.
you're
So
definitely like you kind of opened up a little bit more, like became a little bit more conversational, and that was a little better.
yeah,
So
like I can talk to you almost about anything, but kind of knowing that, hey, we're being recorded, it definitely did take a little bit. It took like the first half of the season before I really start seeing a change.
yeah,
Um, and believe it or not, like I can't wait for the second season. I can't wait till we start. We start recording what, in August. So
yeah.
so we got like less than 3 months away to the coattail of summer, and I think we should be done by November. I think if I did my scheduling right, we should be done. I think the first week in
November,
November.
probably.
Yeah,
I mean,
um,
yeah.
but because we're only doing one episode per month. We're taking January off, but you guys will get Encore.
Excuse me.
Like
Yeah,
we'll keep Encore going because Encore is shorter. It's a little bit more easier to manage and edit, and I
I'll
guess we'll
be.
go we'll go ahead and say for second season the episodes are going to be much shorter. You'll
I'll
get more episodes out of us, but like, we're going for under an hour because your boy here has so much shit to do that editing a 2-hour podcast almost weekly would fucking kill him.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I'll also be on the road for my job, so like I'll bring my webcam and find somewhere quiet to record those Sunday nights, and hopefully,
Shout at your boss. Shut the fuck up! I'm recording. What the fuck are
no.
you saying to me?
The only one, there's only one person I need to like kind of avoid while we're doing that because he talks just as much as you sometimes.
I'm sorry.
You know what
I'm
I'm talking
sorry.
about.
Like, I know what I'm talking about. I was given so much in the brain, but my mouth can only move it so fucking much and everything. And um, yeah, I know. I've definitely been working on it. I've actually been doing meditation about handling, like, how to handle silence. I found out I handle silence terribly. If like even in a Discord call and people are so quiet because they're focused on gaming, and I think I said something to offend. I was
Shocked.
like, did I say something that offended someone? I know, shock, gothic, not gothic. I swapped Twitch personas real quick. My bad. James here has a problem with silence, and one of my friends is all like, "When did you first discover that?" I was like, "Actually, it started all back in therapy in high school."
Like
it just it
I
just
need to
reoccurred right
fill
here.
the empty space of no talking. I need to fill it.
But also too, it was like, it was where I grew up. There was always something going on. There was either a television on or there was someone always talking. So you get so used to being in an environment
Yeah,
that there was something always stimulating, like the listening ears. Like, and if you hear quiet, it's like, oh, there's something wrong. But but
like
yeah,
I can't
I,
handle the
I, I
silence,
I've
awkward or
learned to
not.
kind of I've learned to mellow down, and folks, I'm not on like CBD chewables or anything like that. Like,
I am. That's why I'm so slow. It's actually
on the road
really
and you're
cool.
already doing drugs, Chris. What the fuck?
It, it's
Oh
my medication for my glaucoma.
oh my god. But
Gosh.
yeah, so what have you been doing in between since the last time that we recorded, since February? What have you been up
I quit my job and I got a new job, and
to?
I've been kind of busy with that, but like I haven't been able to work on personal projects as much as I wanted. I did start reading more, and I just finished Charles Bukowski's Post Office. So that was a good book.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Again, you do have Bukowski vibes. I've even noticed I've discovered Bukowski vibes,
yeah.
and it's all like
Kind of got his
it's like
sense of humor.
it's well, I'm over here. It's like I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then
Oh,
I keep thinking, it's like, well, you know what? Like every time that like I bring up Mark Maron, the comedian, I always tell people like secretly I do really think that's my dad. My dad is a Jewish comedian who throughout the 80s and 90s had a really bad coke habit, got himself cleaned, and now he has like one of the most awesome podcasts.
that's the guy from Glow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was
That
one who
dude's
played the
awesome.
director and everything. I love Mark Maron. And the sad thing is when I kind of notice some of the humor, it's like, oh God. It's like I've kind of become Mark and everything. And people are like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I was like, no, if you really know about his drug habit, it's that's fucking terrible.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
Well,
But
I'm too poor to even have one to begin with, so it's like, yeah, I've gotten
I'm too
I've gotten gigs and like writing gigs and everything, but it's only enough to keep me out of the red in the bank account.
I'm
That's pretty
too
much about it.
like money minded to like want to start a bad habit. Just like, oh, I can't start a drinking problem. Just that sounds so expensive and time consuming.
I know. I have that thought process, and most people ask, "How the hell do you not have a drinking problem?" I was like, "I don't have a steady job, so it's like kind of hard to have one." And
It's
you
not a
know,
problem, you know. I can stop anytime I want. You know, just
and if I'm so stressed
keep
out,
a
all I gotta do
bottle
is
of
write.
meat in my cooler,
I was about to say I opened
pop it
this. Yeah,
open
no,
every few
I, I
weeks.
I got some sticky stuff that I
Yeah.
need to post up for the for the fucking what is it, the soundproof boards, or
Yeah.
not the boards but the phone. I still haven't put those up. That's what I opened. That's the first thing that pops out here. All in my room, you won't find alcohol. You'll find allergy stuff, melatonin, and like stream equipment. That's all that's in my room.
Just like,
So I
oh
don't
man,
know what that says about me about a person. Um,
you have your life sorted together. Probably,
Oh, it may look sorted. It's still a mess.
but
But
I'm gonna.
anything else about the job?
I
You know.
mean, it's been a good job. It's a nice job, like traveling and stuff. And, like it's more of like what I want to be doing instead of driving around in FedEx van dealing with that crap. So, like it's better
Getting bit by
career.
dogs.
Yeah, I only got bit once though. It didn't really break skin. It bruised the frack out of my knee though. That hurt. Got a.
I think I'd much rather have broken skin than a fucking nasty ass bruise.
It still hurt. I mean, I'd rather not have broken skin at all. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, don't have to worry about that. And like get to travel around and stay in nice places and get free food. So yeah, it's a nice little new
I
chapter in my
want fucking
life.
free food, but I don't want to work for it.
It's not working if you love what you do.
Pretty much, but at the same time, what I do is very stressful because the next thing I'm wondering, I just finished this project. This was a really fun project.
Yeah,
Where's my next job? Oh shit, and everything. And so I've been trying to keep it where like even though I have a gig, it's like I gotta also keep looking for like the next one and the next one and the next
yeah,
one. That at least try to keep stuff steady. I had a really good thing. Like I had like a book editing gig that
yeah.
popped in my hands. I got where I needed to. I still haven't fixed this damn wisdom tooth because this is kind of what's pushed back me even
Is it still
recording.
infected or?
No, it's not infected. No, I do antiseptic mouthwash like 2 to 3 times a day
Oh,
to
okay.
keep it, and like if I eat anything and if I eat on that side of the mouth and everything, I go through and I fucking floss and I clean the living shit out of it. I treat it like, like it's a car wash and everything. It's like, you went through some mud, you don't fucking wash the shit out of you. And um but yeah, no, like I've been doing all this to save up for the dental work, because it's like gonna cost like a little over $1,000 and
How far are you
everything.
from that mark?
uh I'm like, well, I don't know, you can go to my Ko-Fi page and everything. I'm like 35% completed from there. Like if I can at least get 200, some family is like bothered, some families willing to chip in because they're like, yeah, you need to get rid of it. I was like, you fucking think like I would love to sit there and be able to actually eat again instead of worry. And but also too, the surgeon I went to is like a used car salesman and everything. He's all like, it's like, oh, like you're gonna need this, you're gonna need this, you're gonna need this. And I was like, dude, I just need the fucking tooth pulled.
Yeah.
It's like, why the hell do I need an extra bone graft and everything? And it's all like, there's no way in hell that my bones are thin. That, because to me, that's what I look at what a bone graft is. It's like if you have like a very thin thing, and whenever I talk to a nurse, the nurse is all like, oh no, um, it's like going to a car dealership and you wanting to walk out with like a Nissan, like a really fancy car. And I was like, I don't need a really fucking fancy car. I just need the son of a bitch to get me to point A to point B. That's
Wait,
all
are
I
you going to
need.
like
And
Mint Mobile or Mint Dentistry?
no,
Because
I can't remember what this one's more local, like it,
okay,
almost kind of like almost like a mom and pops kind of
oh
thing.
okay,
I know that
because
sounds dirty. It's like a mom and pop's dental thing. It's like no, it's like it's
they
just local. It's not like a big branch. I used to go to Mint when I had like my top ones. Those were actually fair, but also too, what's making these bottom ones so expensive? It's my wisdom teeth are curled and they're narrow, so that requires more attention. But
yeah,
when they talk about
it's
the
just
bone
like
graft, it's
so
like there's no way my
that's
bone, yeah, there's no way in hell that my bone is that sensitive. It's like this chin has fucking hit almost every single substance known to man, because your boy trips a lot and everything. So it's hit everything. It's never broken. It's only been scratched and bruised. That's it. It's all like, I'm not saying I have an indestructible jaw, but you know what? Like nothing's broken in it. So
not
yeah,
yet.
like it's that. I've been doing the writing gigs a little bit more. I've been streaming more. Um, I have a newsletter that is all about classic cinema. That's more is close to the Ko-Fi. We just wrapped up. We actually just wrapped up the second issue a month early,
That's good.
because I decided, hey, maybe I could actually get some writers on board that want to help me out here. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And I was like, fucking sweet. And I'm over here in my brain, I wish I could pay you, but like they're doing it out of like, they actually want to sit there and they want to see it succeed. And
Yeah,
it's like, thank you so much, thank you
off,
so much that there are good people in this fucking damn world.
offer some
But
stock
like,
options.
yeah, you know uh but yeah, I've been doing that. Twitch has kept my bank account from being in the red. The writing gigs have helped saved up for like the tooth stuff. So is Ko-Fi and everything. And I've gotten to the point where I had to write smut just to get a paycheck. I was like, you know what, I'll fucking do it. I need it, it's not under my name because I'm not that stupid, but like, it's all under an alias.
Yeah,
But I guess now the world knows, he writes smut. I was
I
like, I
mean
only do it if I really need the fucking paycheck.
it's a job. You know, you get money for it. It's
Yeah, it
nothing to be
is.
like
I mean, like
oh
Stephen
I'm not
King wrote
above or below
short
that.
stories for men's magazines that essentially were just tasteful nudes
Yeah,
and everything before they really got raunchy and
I want
everything.
to write for
So
Hustler. Beauty bags.
I don't know about. It's like I don't know any magazines that actually would do short story unless you do Reader's Digest.
Well,
That's
I mean,
that's the only one that I know. I don't think they do short stories anymore in magazines. I think that all
well,
got faded out in the 80s.
Playboy and stuff like they'll have short stories and articles and stuff like that.
How do you know this, Chris?
Because I hey, look at this book.
I read that book this year.
I'm gonna read it later.
It's a good
But
book. It's a
yeah,
good
no,
book.
it's a good book.
And speaking of books, while we're changing the topic right here, not to throw my buddy out here on the damn roof. So I've like done this whole a book a month thing. Uh, this has kept me from doing a book a month in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm reading The Stand, a little bit more closer look for you. This is the uncut complete edition. I have like 340 pages left of a 1,153 book.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to fucking finish this goddamn book because it's like it started out. It was like actually all really fun, but then I got sick, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I mentally got myself sick because I'm reading about a super flu.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is my thing before I turn 30 at the end of June. I'm going to finish this book. This is going to be the last book I read in my 20s. Because after I'm done reading this, I'm reading all the scripts that I need to for the podcast second season
I mean,
and
we have
everything.
plenty of time.
I need that break. I need
Yeah.
that break in between. It's just that's just what I need.
You've been
And
consumed with Stephen King like all year.
no, not all year.
I mean, read
I've
all those
read.
Dark Tower books, and
I think that was like only. I think that was only one that I've
huh?
read this year.
I thought you read
No. You know what? I don't think I read Dark Tower this year yet. I still need to get Song of Susanna and the Dark Tower, but I do remember right around the holidays last year is when I finished the fifth book. I read the eighth. Well, really, it's more of a novella. I read the novella and then I read the fifth book
Yeah.
during the holidays. The novella made me cry. That was actually a really really good story. Because during the summer was when I read book four, which was Wizards in Glass, and that one fucking killed me. Like I already had the next book like in line already, like it was on my bookshelf,
Yeah.
but when I read Wizards in Glass, that was like the one romance love story that it was all like, holy shit, Stephen King actually wrote a really good love story, and it fucking hurts. The love stories in here, not so much. Like these are
Like
like
pulling from pain from a failed relationship. Those are the strongest.
kinda, but like also too, it was more of a like it was more of like like writing about first love, and that heartache that you get with first love.
Yeah.
Most of us, it's like, oh, the girl's just not interested in you anymore, or the girl found someone better. It's like, oh, that hurts. And you look at poor Roland, and you're all like, well, what happened to you, dude? And it's all like the woman's bitch ass aunt sat there and got the whole town to set her on fire. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty fucking damn rough. And it's like, how the hell do you come back from that one? You don't, and but no, I've read The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. Figure in the Shadows. I forgot who wrote that, but that's a sequel to The House with the Clock on the Walls. And this is like a 1970s children's story, and it's fucking dark as shit. Like it has some really good mystery moments and some like suspense. I was like, this is way too damn good to be a children's book. And like some of it has not aged well, but then there's some of it that it's all like, oh, you can see this like any modern day like ghost story where like
Yeah.
it's the kid being lured to its death, you know. And it's like, oh my god, this is pretty damn dark. I read Dolores Claiborne, which was the fastest King book I've ever read. That one was a fun read. Um, and if you ever really want to sit there and know supposedly how Maine people from Maine sound like, read Dolores Claiborne. That is the most strongest accent of you know a Mainer that Stephen King's from Maine, but like I'm talking like the way how the people on Little Tall Island talk. It's such a strong accent.
Yeah.
I've read that. I've read The Mist. I've finished reading the Tomb of Dracula comics, which the ending was okay. They should have stopped after a certain point in the comics, but they didn't. I read Killing of the Rising Sun. The less the said about that, the better. I've read Stephen King on Writing for the second time. I read that one right before I picked up The Stand.
Yeah.
And I've read the Hellboy Omnibus Volume 1, which was very fun. That and The Great Gatsby. I read a couple of more scripts in between, but you can actually go on my YouTube channel, The Gothic Storyteller, to hear more about those with the retired book report stuff that I did.
You've
But
been busy, old boy.
oh, I have. Like I've at least sat there and spent a majority of the year, if not behind the PC writing. That's a funny thing because really most of it was all plotting and planning, and outlining. But yeah, I've kept my nose in a book most of the damn time, learning, just absorbing all this information and learning. Oh, I could tell a story through there. I can just learning all the different little ways that how you can tell that. And I kind of keep kicking myself in the ass of all like, you haven't written much this year. I was like, yes, I know I haven't. It's like, you should. I was like, I should. It's like, maybe right now's a good time. And it's like, maybe tomorrow. So it's like, that's what it's been like. But I'll read. So it's not like I'm wasting time. I'll read and everything. But this past week I did write. Last week I wrote. for the first time this year.
That's good.
Like officially, like actually script, like actually wrote in script, not do. Though I have been told by people, it's like outlining and figuring out your characters and all, that all counts as writing.
Yeah,
It's not just the act. And I was like, I know, but to physically do it, that is something different compared to just sitting there. Like, I know what this character needs to do, I know where I need to go, but to physically do it, that is a
just to
totally
create a
different
nice little
stance.
story. Yeah, just begin the
Yeah,
story.
and well, this one I like wrote the screenplay to it like 2 years ago. I didn't really kind of like how it came out, but I had a good general gist of what I wanted, so I decided to like write a concept short film to it, where it kind of more or less just it's the setup for like the entire story. Um, I don't know if I told you about Vamp Express, but either way, it's about this guy that pretty much just transports vampires around and is
Oh yeah, you told me about
yeah.
that. They got his daughter, and he he got into that
It
situation
yeah, yeah,
because
well, like
he
I'm like
killed the
rewriting all
previous
of
one.
that and everything
Yeah,
because it's like I I kept writing it in a different character sense, and then there was some shit that I kind of went through which I won't really divulge too much into. But when I was going through that, Vamp Express popped right in my head, and I was like, that's I think what the character needed. It's like I had to go through this to finally understand what is it my character needs, you know, um, to like actually grow and get through this story. Because like the subplot, in a sense, I don't really look at it as subplot, but the whole subplot is actually about the vampire lord grieving over his son.
yeah,
Like the guy is actually like a good father. It's like I care for my son, I love my son, you know, and then this human killed him. But in all honesty, what we see on the human side of the thing was the guy broke the rule. The guy gave him multiple warnings, and the prince thought he was just like, or not prince, but the Lord's son is like, yeah, no, I'm invincible because of who my daddy is, and he gets killed breaking that rule. Both him and his cronies, and so it's our character having to live with the choices that he has made in life, and it's like the vampire lord is just suffering because it's like I've lost my son, like it was my only family, you know, that was like the last bit of my family, and it's all like you feel for them both because one dude's all like I was just doing my job and I was trying to save that kid because there's no kids allowed on my bus, and I gave that dude every fucking damn excuse. But then you have the vampire lord like my son, and it's all like, oh, you know what, I think that actually is a really good character drama. um, so yeah, I'm working on that. I'm giving myself some space and working on a short story, so I can get that done, or not done, but I have that so I have a fresh brain. So when I go back to the script, I can read it and know how to fix it, and you know, I just have a fresher palette with it, so I don't seem too attached to it. If you catch what I mean,
yeah. But like,
yeah,
you know, it's good to just step away from something just so you get like
yeah. But
reinvigorated.
it felt good to write. It felt good to write. I did that on stream, and I gave myself like 4 hours to write this thing,
Yeah,
and that's what I did. I broke down the scenes of what I wanted, and I started just jotting that thing down, and it fucking felt like magic, folks. Nothing is a better high than just writing.
yeah.
You know, like that's something. Kind of
Honestly,
brought me back to film school, so I really enjoyed it.
yeah. Like
But
your story honestly reminds me of a movie I just watched, Shoot 'Em Up, with Clive Owen and Monica Bellucci.
mhm.
It's the main
Was that a similar
character.
thing?
He comes across a woman who's being hunted. She's a pregnant woman who's being hunted by gang members, and it's just a wild little movie because it's just nonsense action. Just dude
Mhm.
is always like in a
Is it kind of
gunfight.
one of those chase scene movies?
It's
Like they're constantly chasing him, like the
yeah,
Bourne movie, where
the
it's almost like it's one continual chase
yeah,
broken
but
up.
the vibe is just like nonstop action, and it's just crazy comedic action at some points. Like
Oh,
he
okay.
delivers her baby right at the beginning. He is like taking care of her and the baby, and like she gets killed, so he's like protecting the baby the entire movie because they're trying to kill this baby because it's like evidence to some
It's Mandalorian.
conspiracy. It's
It's
it's not Mandal.
Mandalorian.
It's
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 seems like
rated
Mandalorian with extra
R
steps.
Mandalorian because he's trying to take care of this kid and keep him out of the hands of these hitmen, and he's got to go to his like prostitute girlfriend who has like a mommy fetish gimmick going on with like feeding people breast milk and stuff, her breast milk. And it's a
Oh
wild
my
movie. It's a
god.
great movie, but I think it's just an underrated gem that kind of got looked over when it first came out. But you should
I'm
definitely
definitely
check
gonna
it
have to
out.
check this one out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this one out. Uh,
I'll find a
but
movie poster and see if I can find it on Voodoo. But yeah, it's a great little
with,
movie.
with that, I guess we can move on to our final topic before we wrap up. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The last James Gunn Guardians movie. The last time we'll ever see these people together. Probably.
Well, uh, Star Lord will return. The movie,
Yeah,
at least Star
he'll
Lord will.
return, but like, everyone's kind of gone their
Yeah.
separate way. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was the best Marvel movie since Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I can vibe with that. I actually do think it's the best one since Endgame. I
Really?
think it actually did beat out Spider-Man for me. Even though
Oh,
I love that they brought back all the villains from the Sonyverse
yeah.
Spider-Man movies, and then they brought back the two Spider-Man. Um, I'm waiting for a sequel to that where they bring back the Japanese
Oh,
Spider-Man.
you mean for
We
like?
just like supposedly shoots a webbing, but really it's just rope, and he's just like all of them are just
Oh, yeah,
wall
yeah,
crawling, and he's over here like Batman and
yeah,
Robin just fucking pulling. But and then like whenever they got to fight the bad guy and everything, they're like, wow, it's like that's a giant kaiju, and then the Japanese Spider-Man's like, I got this covered, and jumps into a Megazord.
yeah.
It's like that'd be wild and everything. But yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll do that with Into the Spider Verse too. Maybe they'll do
Probably.
that with
I mean,
that.
they kind of had a little mecha thing in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
the
was about to
Japanese
say,
girl. The
yeah. So yeah, they've already done that then.
Yeah,
That's from the manga verse of Marvel. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I will say this is the one Marvel movie that did make me cry.
yeah.
With Rocket and Lila and Teeth and Floor,
It
and it's like,
was just way more emotional and just way more
yeah,
tragic than you expected. You know?
yeah. And when the High Evolutionary got what he had coming, I was like, yeah, that bitch deserves more.
Yeah,
And I like how like people were all like, yeah, I didn't like the villain because I wasn't sympathetic to him. And it was all like, not all villains need to be sympathetic. This dude doesn't want to conquer the world. He just wants to perfect it. But he keeps seeing every little flaw. That's his flaw. That's his character flaw. He keeps seeing every flaw in it.
yeah.
And the whole thing with Lila, I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. And who'd have thought that Linda Cardinelli, I think that's how you say her name,
Yeah.
like, yeah, Hawkeye's wife in the MCU, like she voiced Lila, and it's all like, oh my god, I love this fucking voice. It's so fucking cute and everything. And
There's just such
yeah,
a
like
lovely, nurturing tone to her voice. Love
it
it.
was definitely what Rocket needed
Yeah,
and everything. And I like how he gets his name, both like as like an infant, and then right towards the end, whenever he goes to save all those little raccoons,
yeah.
everything.
He finally.
Spoilers, I guess we should be fucking sitting here saying here. Spoilers
It's
here.
been out for almost a month.
I was about to
Well,
say, yeah. By the time that this comes out and everything, it would have been out for over a month, so people would have.
it's been about
But
three
still,
weeks.
yeah. But man, that fucking movie, it hit home. Uh, and I fucking feel for Nebula because as a child, opening those fucking kind of car doors where you had to push the fucker and you had to pull. I grew up always stressing, and I had to use both my thumbs just to push it hard enough and pull
Yeah,
and everything because the fucking damn door was heavy.
there.
And
I
it's
mean,
the first Marvel F bomb.
oh yeah, was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
because like I keep thinking of
Nick
all the
Fury came
Spider-Man
close.
movies, how they would end with what the, and just
Yeah,
like they would cut off right there. Yeah,
they did that, and then at the end of Infinity War, before then, when Nick Fury was being snapped away, and he went to do the call for Captain Marvel,
yeah,
and he's like looking
mother.
at his hand, he's like, "Ah, oh, mother," and then yeah,
Yeah,
I was all like, "Oh shit!" He almost dropped his phrase, and then yeah, with Spider Man when he was like, "Holy," I thought he was gonna say "Holy shit," but I guess he could have sat there and said "Holy fuck."
yeah.
And everything. But yeah, Star Lord be like, get in the fucking car now, and it's like I don't know anyone who would sit there and have like this kind of device thing. And I was like, oh yeah,
It
you know
kind
what?
of
Like it's got
makes me think like because you know the whole you remember the whole like debacle with James Gunn getting fired and stuff. like them finding old tweets and like, oh, you can't be working
Mm-hmm.
with us anymore because of these 10-year-old tweets, and now like they hired him back because all the actors kind of made a uproar about them firing him over such a dumb thing, and like
Yeah.
Batista definitely was just like, this guy gave me the big break I needed, and like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not continuing on without him. I'm not finishing this without him. So
Yeah.
like it's just the amount
Batista's a
of
very loyal guy.
yeah,
He's very loyal. If you know, like he was loyal to the WWE up until the WWE didn't want anything to do with him.
yeah,
You know, like they weren't gonna relegate him to like the main card, like the main event stuff. And it's like, well, if you ain't got nothing to do for me, then I'm done here. And then
yeah.
that's when he went to go do Hollywood, and
He's
um,
he's finally he lucked out because like he got a big break with thanks to James Gunn, and just
I actually do think he's more successful than The Rock. I think The Rock makes more money because of the charisma, but I really like if you really look at how many emotional roles and the range in which Batista has acted in,
yeah.
he does outbeat The Rock. The
Should,
Rock is an action star. Batista's an action star, but Batista can also be in drama as well, like
yeah.
in what was it, Blade Runner 2049, and then he was in the M Night Shyamalan movie that I saw in theaters. That was a really good one. He was a
Which
very
one?
caring, nurturing kind of
Oh,
guy.
the cabin in the woods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the yeah, that was a really good one.
I
I really enjoyed his character,
do
and
agree with
he did
you in that.
as threatening as he looked as like this big guy, and like I think he was like a gym coach and everything. But even then, he's all like, I'm not here to scare you. He just had this whole like, I may look mean,
Yeah,
but I'm actually here to help
yeah.
you.
He's a big old
And
teddy
it's
bear.
like, yeah, he's a very tender-hearted person.
Yeah,
Now, I hate to piss him off and everything because seeing him as Drax, it's all like, ah, shit, this dude could pick me up and Batista bomb me and break my back and everything. And
yeah.
he still looks like he still got it that he can grab you and just fucking slam you around.
If
And
James Gunn doesn't make him the DC version of Bane, I'm gonna be a little annoyed. But like,
I
yeah,
think he's a
he
little too old for
definitely.
that, but yeah.
It's all right. I mean, yeah, I think
He
he'd
he
be
has the
fine.
physique for it, but I could definitely sit there and see him come back as some kind of character
Yeah,
and
but like
everything.
he definitely does have more range, I think, than Dwayne Johnson. Like in that
Yeah.
sense, like I think Dwayne Johnson's more successful. Like I think he's like a bigger name. Like he's the one that draws
He's
people
more
to
family
theaters.
friendly. He's more
Yeah,
family friendly.
but like also he's kind of like been typecast now. He's into that phase of his career where he's typecast into the same role. He's playing the same character, but just in a different movie. And like
Yeah.
you could put 3 or 4 different clips of him in different movies, and like people wouldn't be able to tell which movie it's from. Like that's the phase of his career he's in.
To me, I think the last time that The Rock was really great in cinema was when they introduced him in I think Fast Five, and I loved watching him beat the shit out of Vin Diesel. I hated how Vin Diesel constantly had that aura of his character in those Fast and Furious movies. Like I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
It's all like I'm untouchable on the fucking streets. I'm untouchable in a fist to fist. Watch him freaking The Rock pick his ass up, make him hit the back of his head on the fucking damn the door frame, and then throw him through a fucking wall. I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy up, and I was like, fuck him up, and then they
We're
start
supposed to be rooting
fighting
for
with.
the Vin Diesel. Like what the hell? But like yeah, no,
I think the only time I'll
he's
ever really root for Vin Diesel is in the Pitch Black movies. That's I think when he's his best. I
Vin
think each
Diesel.
actor, like even
Oh,
like
Fury.
Dwayne Johnson does a really good Hobbs. And
Yeah,
I think Hobbs and Shaw would have been a lot more successful if it was not a Fast and the Furious spinoff, if it was his own entity.
yeah,
That kind of a character that The Rock played, I could sit there and see him do series with Jason Statham do that. But we've like deterred so far off from Guardians because we got the thing. I will say this is I really do hope John Cena learns from Batista that yeah, you can do all this action stuff like what him and The Rock do, but I really do want to sit there and see John Cena do more dramatic roles. Like I like
yeah,
him. I like him in Peacemaker. Like Peacemaker took the douchey character who he played in the Suicide Squad and actually really humanized him as like this was a guy. Spoiler alert, though this has been out for almost like over a year now. This is a guy who has dealt with parental abuse and saw his own brother die ahead of him because his dad's all like, one of you kids is gonna die
yeah.
after I'm done training you.
overcoming
and then to
like
have the
his
father be upset
prejudices
that
and
the son that
bigotry.
he wanted, yeah, yeah, and being raised by a guy who's essentially almost like the what is it, the
Just
Grand Wizard of the KKK.
yeah,
He's
just like a
almost like
Ku
up there
Klux
in that
Klan.
level, and so it's like, oh my god. And even when John Cena's character is trying to be sincere, but it comes off as very much um, offensive. It's like you can actually do tell when he's trying to be sincere, and when his teammates are looking at him like, "Are you just being a smartass? Or are you actually trying to be nice?" And when they really do see that, it's like, okay, he's trying to learn. Which I like that. I like that in a character where he's just not offensive for the sake of being offensive. It's like, no, I grew up in this environment, and now it looks like I have to change.
That moment when he breaks down. It's like in the first episode, like after he gets back to
Yeah,
his trailer, he's like, "Why are you such an asshole? Why can't you just be like talking to these guys? You can tell, you know, you could be real good friends with these guys, but you're such a
and then
prick."
Vigilante's knocking on the window. Hey,
Yeah,
man, I think I heard you crying. No, I wasn't fucking crying. I had something in my eye. And then
yeah.
Vigilante's like, oh, yeah, I get that way too. And
I
it's,
was I was doing I was working out my face muscles. No.
yeah. And yeah. But I do like in the writing, because this again, this just goes to the greatness of James Gunn's writing. Um, is that um what's it, Kinnaman, Joel Kinnaman's character, Flag. His death wasn't just as impactful in the Suicide Squad movie, it was impactful in Peacemaker
Yeah,
because it was the catalyst for Peacemaker's own
change.
hero's journey of a sort of like, Peacemaker, what a fucking joke. And it's like, yeah, like, like when you see it in the movie, it has a different context of like, yeah, he is a fucking joke. But then when you see it in the TV show, it's like, oh man, he's really hanging on that. And it really kind of makes you think he really did look up the Flag a lot. And it really probably did actually hurt him
Yeah,
to kill Flag, even though he was only doing what Waller, you know, was asking of him.
yeah, he
Because
definitely
even Waller, I
respected
think,
him.
kind of,
Like
yeah, he
he did not
respected
want
him
to
very
do
much.
it. Like he did not want to kill him, but like he was in that mentality of like I have to follow orders. Good soldiers like follow orders, and like I have to do this for my country, and just
That's why I do think that DC's in good hands with Gunn.
yeah.
It well, I know Gunn can't write it all, but Gunn can at least try to.
Hey, gun can write. Gun can write.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he's not writing the Green Lantern stuff. He's not writing every piece of DC stuff out there.
Yeah, but
Like,
he
as
is
far
a
as I know,
visionary. You know, he's got a
yeah,
vision for a story. Like
I
he
know he's
knows
doing
what he
Superman
wants.
Lives. Is this no Superman Legacy? Superman Legacy.
Yes,
Superman Lives
Superman Legacy.
was a movie that never was made. Um, Legacy, and then I think he's doing the monster one, the one where like there's supposed to be like
The
soldiers.
Monster Squad.
Yeah, something like that.
Creature Commandos or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. He's doing that and everything. I know we're going a little bit too far, but this is the first episode,
yeah,
so it's like, you know what, we may go maybe an hour.
yeah.
Like, it's been a while since me and Chris have actually recorded and really talked, and yeah, like diving down deep into this,
Just like I
but yeah,
forgot we
back
did a
to
podcast.
Guardians. But back to Guardians, yeah, it's the writing and everything. Everyone felt like they were just like they had something really well written. Even Cosmo and Kraglin, they
Yeah,
had a really really good little subplot story, and everything felt very much fixed. Like it didn't feel forced and everything. Because the one thing I was worrying about is like, oh, like, please don't tell me they're gonna make this Gamora fall in love with Star Lord. It's way too soon to try this. And
yeah.
I really do like that story had it where it's like, you don't need her anymore. It's like, it's like, that's not her and everything. And
She's the
even
one
she
that
has
got
her own
away.
family. Yeah.
She's the one that got away, and like this was Star Lord's like trying to come to terms with losing someone he loves, and like everyone could relate to that. Like when they're breaking into the high security like brain thing in space, like, and
Hmm.
he's wanting to talk to Gamora, and like just trying to
She
see if
just keeps
something
like,
is there,
yeah.
like just maybe possibly there's some way to reclaim what he lost. Like that hurts me so much because you know that you always have
Hmm.
that one love that's just like you want to like reach out to her like come on we can be good, we were good together, why can't we be good again? And it's just like it hurts so much when he's like you can hear the pain in his voice, and it's just like Chris Pratt did an awesome job with that. Like
Oh, he was right next to the Rocket story. Chris Pratt's drama, and
Yeah,
that was, I almost fucking lost it whenever they were reviving Rocket, and it felt like all what they did was for nothing, and
yeah,
that they were losing him, and then watching him absolutely lose it. It's like, oh my god, like my eyes were welling up throughout that the entirety of that film, and yeah, it's probably the one MCU film that put me to tears,
yeah.
you know, which really, like, I don't know, as of lately it seems like there are certain things that can do that to me, but that was the first MCU one. I'm pretty sure it's because it's torturing an animal. It's torturing an animal. That's like, no one wants to sit there and see that. No one wants, like, anyone that does that, it's like we immediately associate them with a monster, even though they're all like, I'm trying to do the good for mankind. It's all like, really, by sticking this thing in a raccoon, like. And I love when they did the joke, where he always made, when Quill made jokes about Rocket being a raccoon. I'm not a raccoon.
Yeah.
And then you get to that one scene, and now he calls himself Rocket Raccoon.
He finally
Right
accepts
when,
himself. You know.
yeah, and there is a lot of acceptance, and there's a lot of moving on. And I thought one of the best pieces too was the hug scene when they were all hug each other. That's like the team's way of like, we got everyone's back. And Gamora just looks at him, and they're like, come on, hug. And then she walks away. But then when you pick up on her later, when she's with the Ravengers, what are they doing? They're all hugging. So it kind of goes to show that, you know, it's like she may not be their family anymore, but that's her family. So it wrote off a really good note. Um,
There there is like one kind of thing that bugs me is like the Gamora we hear see in this movie is the same Gamora that just hasn't like gone through all the changes that she went. She doesn't have any of the experiences,
she still
but
acknowledges Nebula as sister and respects her and loves her in that
yeah.
aspect, but it's not like what it was
But
pre Infinity War.
when you go back to the first movie, like she wasn't this bitchy. She did not. She was not this much of a like a dick like to
My thing
everybody.
though with that
She
was
was
I
way
do
more.
believe that
Oh,
Quill kept pushing, and that's why she's like that. Like even before the events of the film, I'm wondering if Quill did keep constantly contacting her,
yeah,
and so now that's like her defense thing. Oh, he's gonna give me the story again, how we
like
fell in love, da da da.
she was
You know,
guarded, but like she
yeah.
still had the mindset of wanting to do the right thing. This Gamora, she's a little bit more selfish, and it's just it kind of is weird because like this is the Gamora that we were about to meet in the first Guardians movie. This is the Gamora that he was about to send to help out Ronan the Accuser. So like
Yeah,
this is a Gamora that like is a few days before all the very first Guardians movie. So like
yeah.
it's just weird how
My
she's
thing is why didn't she disappear in the snap? She was with Thanos.
no, she wasn't. She betrayed Thanos. She wasn't aligned with him.
Oh, well, that's right. Because either way, she was trying to save Nebula, but Nebula ended up dying.
Yeah, because the other Nebula, the future Nebula, shot her. So like
Yeah,
she she was not
but you
aligned with
kind of
him.
figure they all kind of came in with them. But I guess Stark just kind of thought about it as just get rid of the army
Yeah,
and then
just
snap. And
everyone who's against
yeah,
us. You know. Yeah,
yeah, and um, yeah, that okay, yeah. I can get behind that.
it's
I can
just
get behind that for
it's just
sure.
weird that this Gamora is just kind of more selfish to me. You know, like I get
I was
there's
told
like
somewhere that
needs
she
to be
was
conflict,
more,
but
yeah, more close to the comics, which to me it's like, you know what, that can leave doors open to a whole different class of stories than that you can tell.
yeah,
Like maybe if they ever try to do like the Annihilation Conquest storyline, that maybe that's something that she could be a figure piece once more, because she is a big part of the Ravengers. She's not the leader, but she's a really huge figurehead. So if the Guardians needed to find someone that was a skilled fighter to fight something on this massive, like pretty much if they needed a general,
yeah,
Gamora's right there. She's gonna be there leading the Ravengers with Starhawk and all the other people, and she would definitely like take her part of the Ravengers, and Starhawk leads his group. And yeah, if they ever did like another war thing like
yeah,
that, that's probably the only possibilities I can give to it.
yeah.
Uh, we're kind of running out of time, so we sadly won't touch on Adam Warlock, who I thought was the oddball of it.
That was I'm not familiar with Adam Warlock in the comics.
All I
So
know is
like
he's
this
Space
was a
Jesus.
fun
He's Marvel's
character.
Space Jesus. Even though some people say, well, that's Silver Surfer, he's Space Jesus. And
Yeah,
it's like, it just depends on who's writing him. That they call him Space Jesus
yeah.
and everything. And but yeah, I thought he did pretty damn good. You know, um, though every time I look at his fucking face, all I can think of is the memes of like, it's like you guys are getting paid.
Yeah.
It was like, so it's like that. But
Will
we're gonna get ready
Poulter,
to
he had a
wrap up.
big glow up
So
there.
I will give Chris the honors to at least drop a few titles. What are we covering for season 2
Uh,
that'll be coming out next year?
so we are covering. Just drum roll. We are covering Scott Pilgrim versus the World for
Mm-hmm.
our first episode, and I actually forgot what the second episode is.
Well, just drop any other script. Don't put it all in order
Okay,
that they
okay,
have
okay.
what to.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and we are covering one very notable Quentin Tarantino movie. Dun dun
Really?
dun. Yeah, yeah. It's
Are we
very
gonna talk about
gory.
feet fetishes and
Yeah, yeah.
eyebrow plucking,
That's actually
scalp
90% of the episode.
slicing?
So
90%. We're gonna sit there. We're gonna talk about feet. Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
we're
We're
gonna
also gonna try to bring Quentin Tarantino on there to tell us what is his foot fetishes.
yeah. Hopefully he can tell us a little bit about the movie critic. The movie he's
The
writing
last
now.
email I got, he just told me to fuck off. So
Oh, I mean,
that's about as
that's
close
his
as I
sign
got with
off,
you.
isn't it? Like, but yeah, we're gonna discuss a notable Quentin Tarantino movie, one of
Okay.
the top favorites.
Um,
Which, there's only like
do you
10
want to
of
sit there
them.
and tell him what's the next episode coming up for us? What is covering after since South Park is done and over with? What's the next episode?
Uh,
Or do we want to keep that a secret for the folks?
is it the? I forgot which one.
I think it's RoboCop. I'm
Is it
pretty sure it's
RoboCop?
RoboCop because I yeah
Is it RoboCop? I don't
the
know.
87 the 87 classic, not the poorly timed remake
Yeah,
and everything, but
but yeah,
yeah
RoboCop
that's
and
I do believe it's RoboCop because I do believe RoboCop I think is July because I think in August is Some Like It Hot
yeah.
and then oh well shit fuck all right I already kind of I goofed. Oh well, I'm shutting the fuck up now, folks. Chris, where can we find you?
Zella Slacker.
Oh,
Zella Slacker on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
you guys can find me as the Gothic Storyteller on Instagram, TikTok, on Twitch. We also we got we got some other socials for you guys. So Cinema Alley will be on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Anchor, and Spotify. Those are the platforms to listen to. We are on Instagram at Cinema Alley, and we do have a Patreon open for you guys. You guys actually get the video only a week early before the audio only drops, and then 2 weeks after the audio only drops. That's when the video only will be made available to our YouTube channel, which is Cinema Alley, where I drop the promo clips and the full videos, and it's hard fucking doing socials. Doing socials for someone that's a Twitch streamer and a filmmaker, doing that is hard enough, and then also adding the podcast stuff.
Yeah, it's really hard to stay on top of that stuff, especially
It
when you
is
got
because there's some mornings I wake up and I was like, shit, what am I supposed to promote?
like
It's like
especially when I'm away from my computer a lot. So like I it's just I don't get to work on stuff I don't like. I really want to work on, but
yeah.
especially now with the new job. But
Yeah. It takes time to adjust in order to figure out. It's going to be the same thing here when it comes to recording, because while we're recording season 2, we're also going to be recording Cinema Alley. I do believe, I think, what is it? I think it's either it's going to be in July or I think it's going to be in August is where I think we do like 2 episodes of Cinema Alley. Because I do believe, I think July 3rd is when we get RoboCop, and then we have the 17th and the 31st, I do believe. I'm gonna have to go check back on the schedule. So I do think that for pretty much the summer, you're getting double episodes of Cinema Alley, Encore, everything. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We went on a little bit longer. We will generally be going like 30 to 45 minutes. That's gonna be our sweet spot right there, um, for what we're aiming for. Because again, it's easier, editing shorter episodes. But thank you guys again for listening. I hope you guys enjoy. Do follow us here at the socials. Do support us here on the Patreon, because supporting us there actually does help us in the long run when it comes to production value and whatnot. And with that
Help us
being
quit our
said,
day jobs.
I enjoy my day job. Thank you very much. Even though it's a gig for gig base. Either way, thank you guys so much again for listening. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Bye bye.